Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Cook with Kenkey. I hope everybody is doing well. If you're new to this channel, thank you so much for stopping by. On today's menu, I'm going to be showing you how I make my corn dough for Banku or Kenkey or porridge. I'm going to be using my Goya cornmeal and my Indian head white cornmeal. So this is the texture of how the yellow cornmeal looks like, and this is the texture of the white corn. I'm going to show you in a second. And look at that, it is smooth, it's kind of coarse, it's not smooth the way I want it. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be blending this to get a smooth texture. So I know some people go ahead and ferment the Indian head without blending it. You can do it like that, but I prefer to blend it to get a smooth texture. It makes my corn dough really smooth when I make my banku. But you could still go ahead if you don't want to go through all that stress. So I know you're probably asking, why am I using the yellow cornmeal? I just like the color. You don't have to use it. I just like the color it gives to my banku, or even when I make kenkey with it. So it's optional. And also the reason why I did not just use the yellow cornmeal, I tried it one time and it wasn't really good. So I had to mix it up with the Indian head and it was perfect. So now look at the difference. You see how smooth that looks? Yeah, this is exactly how I want it. So at this point, I'm going to be mixing the white cornmeal and the yellow cornmeal together. So with a clean hand, you want to mix everything together before you start adding your water to it. So you want to make a hole in the middle. It's easier when you start mixing it from the middle and bringing everything together. So I started with 4 cups of water. I'm going to be adding more as I continue mixing it. So one trick is when you're mixing your corn dough, you don't want to add all the water at once, because you might end up having like a liquidy corn dough and you don't want it like that. So I start adding it little by little, and when you get the consistency, then you stop. So as you can see, you see how my hands are like covered with this corn dough. Yeah, when it comes to mixing corn dough, you get your hand dirty with the corn dough, but it's okay. If you're not comfortable, you could put some gloves on, but this is for my house, so I wash my hands, so it is really clean. But if you know you're not really comfortable doing this with your bare hand, just put on some gloves and you're good to go. So you could use this corn dough for your kenkey, for your banku, for your porridge. What else can you use corn dough for? I think that's all I can remember now, but please leave that in the comment section if you know what else outside all these 3 that I mentioned. I think that's all I can remember now. Yeah, when you do this, it saves a lot of time, guys. You do this, you keep them in your freezer, so anytime you're ready for your banku or your kenkey, you just take it out and throw it out. So make this at home and save a lot of time. So we're done with the mixing, and this is the consistency you want to get. You see how I'm able to mold that into like a ball shape? Yeah, this is how you want the consistency to look. So at this point, I'm just tapping it to make sure there's not like air bubbles in it, and also to get like a smooth surface. So with a clean paper towel, you want to make sure you clean the side. Guys, if you don't clean the side, when it starts to ferment, you're going to have like molds around it, and you don't want that. So I'm trying to make sure everything is well cleaned before it starts to ferment. So I'm just using a cling film to cover the top. This is to prevent a lot of mold forming after the fermentation is done. It's optional, of course, they don't use it back home, but this is just to reduce the moldness after the fermentation is done. I'm going to show you after it's done. So I left this in the kitchen in one of my cabinets for 4 days. You could ferment this between 3 to 7 days, but after the 4th day, I could smell it, and I know my corn dough was done. You could smell that fermentation that has taken place. So it all depends on how you want it. By 4th day, it was ready. So on the fourth day, this is how our corn dough looks. So you see what I was talking about? You see that little mold I'm scraping off? Yes. If you didn't have the cling film, usually you have to like scrape a lot of it off, and that's gonna be like a whole spoonful of that. But I didn't have to scrape a lot because of the cling film. So you see how that looks? Yes, it looks so beautiful, and that's the color I wanted. So the yellow cornmeal gave me this beautiful color, but you don't have to use it if you don't like it. And this is how you want the consistency to look like. It's really moist, you could still mold it, and that's how you want the consistency to look after the fermentation is done. So I'm going to be putting this in my Ziploc bag, and I'm going to be keeping this in the freezer, so anytime that I'm ready to make Banku or Kenkey or porridge, I just take one, thaw it out, and I'm good to go. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to take out a lot of air bubbles in the Ziploc bag so I could fit a lot in my freezer. So I'm done putting them in the Ziploc bag, and I got 5 of them. I got 5 Ziploc bags full of corn dough. This is gonna take a long time before it's done. So this was a couple of days later. I took it out from the freezer. I threw it out. I'm adding my cassava dough to it. I'm gonna be making some banku with it. So this is like a bonus recipe on how I make my banku: the cornmeal, the cassava dough, and some water. I'm going to be eating this banku with some fried fish. Of course, you could have it with your soup, your stew, whatever you want to pair it with. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you learned something new. If you did like it, please give me a thumbs up, like, share, and comment. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. It helps me out a lot. And until I come your way next time, this is Cook with Naki. Be good to yourself. Be good to everybody. It goes a long way.